Hello and welcome to Gagan's Law Lectures. In this video, we will understand the various schools of jurisprudence. Before we begin with the theory, let me tell you a story of five blind men. This story is taken from the ancient Buddhist text Titta Sutta. The story goes as follows. Five blind men came to know about a new animal that had been brought to the zoo nearby. The blind men were excited to experience the animal, although they were blind. They were taken to the zoo by their caretakers. At the zoo, the guide allowed them to touch the animal. The animal was huge. One man touched one part of the animal and exclaimed, "This animal is like a thick snake." Another man touched another part and said, "You are wrong. This animal is like a tree." Yet another man touched another part of the animal and said, "You both are wrong. This animal is like a sharp spear." These blind men were actually touching an elephant, and based on their limited sense of touch, they were drawing different conclusions on the nature of the animal. We often understand the various aspects of our life and this world based on the limited experiences of our life. Some people say life is beautiful, while some others say life is a struggle. Based on our life experiences and background, we interpret life differently. Same is true about law. Various philosophers from different places and different times have described the nature and purpose of law in their own way. Of course, each philosopher has described law based on their life situations and experiences. To make the study of jurisprudence coherent and systematic, similar ideas given by hundreds of philosophers have been classified and put into different boxes. These boxes are called as schools of jurisprudence. These schools of jurisprudence are comparable to the various genres of movies and music. For the purpose of our syllabus, we are supposed to study the five schools of jurisprudence, namely Positive Law School, Legal Realism, Sociological School, Historical School, and Natural Law School. Imagine these five schools of jurisprudence as five real schools. Each school gives importance to one aspect of education. One school gives more importance to sports, while the other gives more importance to character building. Yet another school gives importance to teaching students to perform well in the exams. Please note that every school has a few leaders or heads who decide the priority of their school. Now, let me take you to the beautiful Indian state, Kerala, also known as the God's own country. In Kerala, there is this place called Sabrimala, where there is a famous Ayyappa Swami temple. It is said that the deity Ayyappa Swami is an eternal celibate, and women of certain age groups are not allowed into this temple. Under the Travancore Cochin Hindu Religious Institutions Act 1950, the rule of prohibiting women's entry was enforced. This law was passed by the Kerala Legislative Assembly, the superior political authority that has the power to make laws for the state of Kerala. Some of you may say that prohibiting women's entry to the temple is discriminatory. But the philosophers who belong to the Positive Law School believe that the law passed by the superior political authority is the law that prevails. Positive law theory proponents like Bentham and Austin are not concerned if the law is unjust. They look at the law as it is laid down by the competent authority. Before analyzing the goodness or badness of a law, it is important to know what the law practically is. The Positive Law School serves this practical purpose. Various statutes like the Indian Contract Act 1872, the Transfer of Property Act 1882, Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita are all examples of law as it is, as per Positive Law School. A group of lawyers going by the name Indian Young Lawyers Association did not agree with the prohibition of women entering the Sabrimala temple. They filed a petition at the Supreme Court to decide on this matter. The Supreme Court decided that prohibiting women from entering the temple is unconstitutional. A group of philosophers believe that the final and real point of law on any matter is decided by the courts. Hence, we should look up to the courts to understand the final point of law. These philosophers focus on the working of law in reality. Hence, they put their ideas under the category of legal realism. Justice Holmes and Carl Levlin are some of the important philosophers in this school. The issues involved in the Sabrimala dispute are interesting because it involves the interplay between religious practices, societal concerns, customs, social norms, traditions, and the law. These are also concepts that are studied deeply in sociology. If we wish to understand this topic better, we should look into the sociological aspects. Every legal issue is also a social issue, be it crimes, family matters, drug trafficking, or property disputes. These are all social problems that are dealt by law. Understanding law from the sociological background helps in finding better solutions to these problems. This approach is known as the Sociological School of Jurisprudence. Roscoe Pound, Duggett, and Jhering are some of the important philosophers in this school. The history of the Sabrimala temple is interesting. It is said that the path to the temple was found by King Rajshekara Pandyan in the 12th century AD. While deciding the Sabrimala dispute, the history of the temple was also discussed. The court examined the historical records to ascertain if women were allowed into the temple earlier. These historical records helped the court to arrive at a decision. They cannot make history who forget history, said Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Chinese philosopher Confucius remarked, "To define the future, one must study the past." At times, it is important to look at the historical aspects to understand the present law better. If one wishes to understand the reasons for the reservation policy in India, they should read the history of Dalit discrimination in India. So many of our present laws are rooted in history. The Historical School of Jurisprudence focuses on the role of history in shaping the laws. The proponents of this school believe that the customs are superior to legislations. Savigny and his disciple Puchta are the two important philosophers in this school. The petitioners in the Sabrimala case strongly believed that not allowing women into the temple is an injustice. Though the law did not allow women, they believed that the law itself is unjust and questioned it. What makes man different from other animals is that man has the ability to think and reason. Man has the ability to distinguish right from wrong. When excessive tax was imposed on salt manufacturing, Gandhiji rebelled against this law because he reasoned that the law was unjust to Indians. If the government comes up with a law imposing death penalty to students who fail in exams, you will surely tell me that the law is unjust and bad. The philosophers in the natural law school believe that there is a law higher than the man-made law. This law is found in the nature. Man, being a part of the nature, can use his reasoning ability to identify unjust laws. Socrates, Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, Lon Fuller, John Finnis are some of the philosophers in this school. To summarize, the positive law school focuses on law as it is. For example, the Indian Contract Act. Legal realism looks for law as decided by the courts. Sociological School tries to understand law from the social angle. Historical School believes in being loyal to the history and customs while making the laws. Natural law theory believes that there is a higher law than the man-made law, and this law is derived from the nature or from the reasoning ability of man. Each school of jurisprudence has its limitations. Every philosopher argues that his school is flawless, and he also criticizes the other schools and other philosophers. So the question comes up, which school of jurisprudence is best? This question cannot be answered with certainty. Each school has its own merits and shortcomings. No single school can describe the complex nature of law in its entirety. In the story of 5 blind men, each blind man understood the nature of elephant through his limited sense of touch. The same way, each school of jurisprudence provides one dimension of law. Law has multiple dimensions. To appreciate the beauty of jurisprudence, one needs to know all 5 schools of jurisprudence. Students may ask, What is the practical use of learning the various schools of jurisprudence? Suppose you get a complex case when you start practicing as an advocate, and this case has been previously rejected by many senior advocates. When you study the case, you feel that there is no point in favor of your client, yet you take up the case as a challenge and you wish to win this case. If you wish to achieve a breakthrough in this case, you should look at the case from various angles. The various angles are exactly what is studied in the various schools of jurisprudence. Even a simple case requires a lawyer to analyze the law as it is given in the statute books and the same law as applied by the courts. This is basic. I hope you found this video helpful. Please share with your friends. If you need more videos, kindly comment below. Please subscribe to this channel for more law related videos. Thank you.